Watch Legal Straight Talk right here on Long Island Public Access, Channel 20.
Why are you playing with your toys?
I watching Madhousetv.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Filmmaker Show tonight. We have some very interesting guests, some of the people from Madhousetv, which I always like to bring in. And look at that. She followed me here again. Michelle Parisi, what do you have to say of yourself?
Hi.
What? Never at a loss of words. But we got some fun people here from the Madhousetv show. It's going to be a special show with Fran Capo. She'll be around in a little while, and she is known in the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest female talker. Where do I fall in with that?
I'm not really sure,
You're right, because I'm not a female.
but usually females talk more. But in your case, I'm not so sure.
Well, I'll tell you who can talk a whole lot and is here with us right now, talk about some really good things on the upcoming. Ladies and gentlemen, he's almost as good looking as me, Tom Mealy.
Almost.
What are you
Almost.
channeling Bob Cratchit?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? Enough with the Christmas stuff.
I can't get rid of this stupid accent.
But you do it very well.
You want to know a funny story? I went on an audition a few weeks ago, and it was.
Do I want to hear this, Michelle?
Yeah, it's cute.
It's not porn, damn it, but what are you
Okay.
going to do? The reality, I went in there, and as I started to read the lines, I started talking like this. I couldn't let it go, and then the people from the camera like edging their face out, like, what is he doing? What's new?
Please.
I want to ask you, what's new? And tell me about this idea of telephones to each table at the Mousetrap Cafe. That's
Okay.
going to be so much fun.
I got to tell you, and this was not my idea. I was just out in the green room with Benny, and he told me the story about how in England years ago they used to have phones at each one of the tables, and I said, well, I don't want phones there. The phones are going to start ringing. He said, no, so they can talk to themselves. So now, let's take that forward for a thought for a minute to the 20th century, 21st century, and with all the technology, let's think about that for a second. We seat about 130 people at the new cafe, which
Right.
is getting ready to open. We'll talk about it in a little while. And there are a lot of VIP sections. I think there's 5 or 6 VIP sections. One huge VIP suite area, which will hold up to 12 people, has a fireplace, big TV. And then we have about 20 tables, not to mention a full bar and a full counter. But let's think about this for a minute. You have, let's say, 20, 25 tables that are in there that sit 4 people.
Right.
So all of a sudden, you come in there with your friends. And let's go back and say we're 18, well, 21 years old. 21 to get in.
Only 23.
21, 22 years old. You're in there with, a group of your friends, and let's say that they're with, one guy's by himself, and this guy with his girlfriend, and you see over at table 12, these 4 chicks that are just sitting there drinking wine and having some cheese and everything, and you say, wow, you know what, that's interesting. Now, in today's day and age, I guess the word is hook up or hang out, whatever the case it is. But let's picture a small little dial mechanism built within the table. Now, you know that that's table 6 over there.
Right.
All right, and you're at table 12, and you like them. Dial table 6. start a conversation with table 6.
I think it's
I mean,
great.
do you think that that's a little corny,
No,
or do you think
I
that's
would-
No,
a
I
unique
think
idea?
I think it's interesting.
I mean, it's something different.
You know what's nice about it? Everybody it'll be so fascinating.
People are going to
every-
want to try it out.
Yeah, they're going to want to try it out and call other tables. And to me, that's wonderful. Everybody can do whatever they want to do.
Can you picture a restaurant where you go in as an unknown, but yet at the end of the day, it becomes family style?
I like
where
that.
everybody is kind of hanging out with everybody else because there's intercommunication between the tables.
Absolutely.
You could actually run singles events there. It's something called speed dating, and this could be like a takeoff on that. And everybody who comes in there could be single within a certain age
Hey,
bracket.
listen, it was just, it was actually, I have to give credit to Benny
Benny
Rizzuti,
Rizzuti, by the
because
way,
he
yeah.
was the one who actually told me about it, and I got to tell you, I have to seriously think of how this would be done, because obviously it would have to be done with a wireless system. You couldn't do it with a wired system.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah,
you're gonna
you
wire.
gotta- that's
So, I think that the technology is there. It's just a matter of taking a look at it. But you know what? Right now, we have so much going on with the cafe. In fact, I wanted to let everybody know that's watching the show that we're probably going to be about 4 weeks more so than we anticipated opening. Our initial opening date was scheduled for right around the first week of March.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be the first week of April. We've run into quite a few interesting snags that we unexpected. It's amazing how Suffolk County and the Department of Water and Sewer, and as nice as they've been to us, the regulations are very, very, very. It's a tall order, rightfully so, and you can't get upset with them, because this is not only for the protection of the restaurant, the patrons, but also the people in the surrounding areas. So, when we first heard that, we had to put in certain provisions, and we had to have these grease traps and this trap and that trap. At first, the thought of it was just, it was overwhelming, because the cost factor is just astronomical.
Sure.
You can spend anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 just putting in these traps, in addition to building a Class A cafe. So when you're throwing another $20,000 into it, $25,000, you think about it. But at the end of the day, it actually, I think of how I would feel going into a restaurant knowing that these provisions weren't in there, and how sanitized would it be.
Now, the rumor going on is that the Long Island View will actually be shot there and live audiences can watch it. Is that going to be true?
Yeah, we're going to be shooting, we're not quite sure what shows other than The View, but the cafe will have I got it. The cafe is going to have the ability to be shooting in high definition, the same 1080i format, SDI format that we shoot here at the studio.
To me, that's got to be the biggest win-win situation there could ever be, because now, not only will the cafe be different than any other cafe with what you're bringing out, but now you're taking the studio aspect and making it different than any other studio, where live audiences come, and that only exists in New York City and Los Angeles, where a live audience can watch. And so not only are we going to have Tommy Marr booking all top-notch entertainment, that we know already, but now on certain different nights, you have a live show. I can't imagine people not wanting to watch certain TV shows live. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. As every step that we take, we have 3 fabulous partners other than myself. Dr. Tom Dow,
Right. Amazing
attorney
man.
Larry Shearer,
Larry
and Tommy
Shearer.
Mora, who who's been Tommy's, has been with us here at Madhouse TV since we started.
Yeah.
But it's a great group of people that are now involved with this, and in fact, Tom's calling me now, as you can see
Oh,
on
very
my
cool.
watch. It's a great group of people, and we work very well together. And I know Tom Dow works very hard
He does.
at executing certain things that need to be done.
Well, he's a perfectionist too. He really gets behind a project and gets going.
Without a doubt.
I admire that man so much just for that kind of.
And Tommy, with the being able to handle the world of entertainment better than anybody that I know, So it makes for a very good standing. Larry, getting our back from a legal perspective and taking care of the licensing issues and a lot of the tax issues that we have. New York State sales tax, all of that stuff that behind the scenes. Larry handles that, and then I do the day-to-day business of building the company.
That's great.
And so the four of us bring a unique power to
You
what
you
we're
all
doing.
come to the table with very special powers.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I was wondering exactly where it falls in Amityville. What's the exact street?
Well, if anybody knows Amityville Village, you know that Broadway is an extension of Route 110. So if
Okay.
you take 110 south all the way to the very end, you're going to come to a point where there's a split in the road, and there's a beautiful white gazebo that sits right in the heart of the village. So if you take 110 south and you go underneath the railroad trestle and you're down in the village itself, as soon as you get to that split, before you go to the right or the left of the beautiful gazebo that's sitting there, we are directly on the left-hand side. We took over the old Lang's shoe store. So people that remember Lang's they've been in business since 1929.
Wow.
And have been in Amityville Village since 1929. So they weren't at the store. They were across the street, but they moved across to where the spot we were in 1962. So they were Lang's shoe store from 1962 in that spot all the way up to 5 years ago. In fact, there's such a buzz about Lang that somebody actually bought the sign that says Lang's since
Really?
1929.
Wow.
So it was an antique item that they're going to be taking down off the building soon.
Well, I know I'll be there, but now I have a question. So many people are telling everybody they're going to go. Everybody seems to be making plans, and I'm hearing this group and that group. And, I'm looking at, jokingly, but not jokingly, 700 people want to
But
show
much
up.
more than that. We're knocking on the door of about 1,000.
Now it's about
people.
1,000.
Wow.
Well, yeah, you would know more than me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just,
think the last time I checked, I don't know if it was 890 or 990, I forget, people that want to come for opening day. And even though we appreciate it, we're going to have to send out a message or an invite that, once we do have a definitive date that we're opening up, we'll send out the invites, but they're going to have to call for reservations because there's no way
Are you
Sure.
going to
that
have
we can
seatings?
handle it.
Like,
We have
for certain-
seating for about 130 people.
no, I know, but are you going to have seatings like from such and such a time to such and such a time?
You know what?
to
We're
accommodate
not
a
we're
certain
not
amount of
sure
people?
yet. We're not
might be a
sure
way
of
to
how
go
we're going
with
to
it.
handle it. We're actually reaching out to the experts now to say, how do we do this? We never anticipated that this would happen. And we've got people that are coming from as far east as the Hamptons and as far west as Jersey and Philadelphia that are coming in. This is crazy. This is unheard of. Why would somebody come from Philadelphia? All right, I know why, because they have family in the area and they're going to come. But let's just take logically New York City or Westchester. People in New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, they jump on the Long Island Railroad. They can literally walk. It's
really?
It's 0.1 of a mile from the station
Wow.
to the front door.
that's wonderful.
So if you think about that, it's ridiculously close. So they jump on the railroad, they come out, and they can come right there. So I'm thinking that realistically, our geographical pull is going to be probably from Montauk to Manhattan.
Easy,
Wow.
easy. And I love the idea that the train is there because now, especially with the anybody driving and drinking, that's not a good idea. We all know this. But imagine that they could actually get on the train
Sure.
and go to their local stop. And most people live pretty or fairly close to their Long Island Railroad stop.
Sure.
Especially in the summer, it's a nice walk from both to both. And you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
That's like a great idea. That's amazing. Tell me about parking over there. It just dawns on me, you got a big parking lot or what?
Yeah, which we were fortunate enough, initially when we looked we were looking in the Deer Park area. And we got a call from Tommy, actually. Tommy Marr told me that the mayor contacted him and said, listen, we have a spot in Amityville available. We had no plans of going to Amityville. And when we looked at the spot, one of the things that excited us was there's parking behind us for 250 cars.
Oh,
So
good.
they can literally park directly behind the cafe and walk through the door into the cafe. So you don't have to worry about parking on the street. You don't have to worry about parking down the block. So, wherever you are, and again, remember, we have seating for about 130 people, maybe slightly more, slightly less. So, at 130 people, 9 times out of 10 people come 2 to a car.
Sure.
9 times 4 to a car. So at
Well,
130
yeah.
people, even if you have 60 cars back there, there's parking for 200 plus cars.
That's great.
That's what you needed.
Yeah. So that actually works in our benefit. I tell you, it was funny yesterday. Dr. Tom Dow and I were down there. We were talking to the architect, and we were going through some of the fine tuned work that's going to be on the walls, and we had gone across over to Victorio's across the street, and as we were leaving, and of course they recognized us, and they said, "We can't wait till you open. It's a place for us to go after work."
Nice.
Now, here's a very high-end Italian restaurant with a bar, but yet those people that work there want to come across the street to the Mousetrap after work. I thought that was pretty
great.
exciting.
Let me ask you something. In terms of going on, the different shows that may go there, they wouldn't be on Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday. That'd be more the entertainment night, and shows would be on during the week. I mean, how do you see that, knowing that this is not only what's going to be a major ground to go to for everybody, but the idea that's going to really attract people too is, wow, there's going to be live shows, live music, all kinds of different types of entertainment that Tommy's going to set up, as well as Madhouse shows.
You know what? I got to be quite honest with you. We haven't even crossed that bridge yet. There's so much that's going to happen before that. We really have to seriously think about how we do it. We know that in the cafe adjacent to the bar, there's an area over there where we are building a sound booth, and it's not very big. It's only maybe about 6 by 8, but it's about 12 inches off the ground.
Okay.
And in that sound booth, it's going to have all of the specialty equipment like you see here in the studio.
Yeah, sure.
The only difference is that the cameras in the cafe are going to be stationary. They're going to be on up off the ground on the poles that support the building.
Sure.
Which are all wrapped in beautiful mahogany, either mahogany wood or oaks
really?
that we're putting in there.
Beautiful.
So there'll be brackets that these cameras will be stationary cameras. So once the cameras are set on the entertainers, they can work that directly from this platform, and go on with very, very simple process. If we're going to have a talk show where we actually have people, we have 2 stages, and the stages they're half moon stages out
Nice.
of the back. It's 32 feet long.
Wow.
It's huge.
Wow.
And to the right of the main stage is now a circular stage, which lifts about 4 inches off the main stage, gives an illusion that it's floating. And on that round stage, we have a brand new mahogany baby grand piano,
Yeah, I had
which
seen
will
that.
be on that round stage. So to be able to do a talk show or an interview, we can do those from the stage anytime. Sure.
That's
So-
going to.
But we don't know when. Again,
Right.
that's something we're working on.
But
The
that's
best part about it is it's completely unique. I
Oh,
don't think
God,
there's any
yeah,
other
unique.
place that has this.
This is going to be
combination of
like
things.
absolutely. I'm excited. I can't wait. I mean,
Benny told me before the show started, he says, why are you starting so big?
You ever start small, Tom?
And, anybody can go into a restaurant and take over an existing restaurant. I think the excitement is building something that nobody's ever seen or has done before. Because
That's
what
gonna be
differentiates
great.
you from taking over a pizza place? At the end of the day, you're a pizza place. What
Yeah.
differentiates you from taking over a bar? At the end of the day, you're a bar.
Right.
Right.
So to walk into a 5,500 square foot shoe store, gut it, and then start fresh and put things in perspective of where you think it needs to be and build this and build that. Now you're creating a specialty, and I think that's what Long Island needs. They need something different,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So-
How far do you think you could take this with the entertainment area? I see no limits.
You know, we've talked about, at least knock on wood, let's hope someday we can franchise these things out. But, we've already started talking about the possibility of opening one up on the East End and calling it the Mousetrap East. We've talked about it, and it's something in the back of my mind. But I try to keep it there because if the other guys find out that I'm seriously thinking about this, they're probably going to have me committed. So I try to keep this
part out.
In the back of the brain for the time business. But I'm already thinking that if this does as well as we're all hoping it does, and that I see probably within 5 years a Mousetrap East out on the East End.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's going to be a lot of fun, too. That's good. How's the new logo coming out? I loved the new mouse. Who drew that? Was
Lip Wally does a show here on Thursday night on the radio, Lip Wally's Twisted Radio show at iTunes USA. And one of the people that are on his show, his name is Mike. He's an artist. And I had this vision in my head of what I wanted, and everybody kept giving me a cartoon mouse. I didn't want a cartoon mouse. I wanted a mouse in tails, cane, top hat. I wanted something that had class.
Yeah.
And I saw something, and I thought about it, and I said, this is what I want. So we took the Madhouse TV logo, and we took the mouth and created a door, and had the door an image of a nice old wooden door.
Good.
And we have this guy stepping out in a top hat, tails, and a cane.
That's
and
great.
He's just stepping out like he's ready to rock.
I think that's a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds great, the whole thing.
What's the exact address of that?
It's 203 Broadway in Amityville.
203 Broadway in Amityville. Okay. So we got a few minutes left to this show, and we got some word that Fran Capo, the fastest speaking woman known from the Guinness Book of Records, hopefully she'll be here. It's torrential rains right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad out there.
It's very bad, and I can imagine in Long Island traffic that the poor thing is probably, freaking out, but she's started almost 3 hours ago.
Where's she coming
Oh my
from?
gosh.
Not far, only Queens.
Did you hear?
I don't know. But we're going to find out on the next show. We do have Benny Rizzuti coming on the next show, and he'll be talking about some of the things that he's got going on. So that's kind of exciting. So hopefully Fran will be able to make it on the show. And, of course, she's not well. We could always reschedule another one. It won't be a problem for her.
Well,
But,
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot
so
of fun.
that's what we got. We just want to tell people that don't go by the March 1st opening because due to the weather and the storm that we had last week, it kind of screwed us up with the air conditioning, and we're putting up a whole new air conditioning system, heating system, which goes on the roof, and of course the roof, being a flat roof, was covered with 3 feet of snow, which created another problem, So we're backlogged about 3 weeks.
You want to hear a funny story? With that snowstorm, I was scheduled to work the Get Down on Monday, that Monday of the Sunday into the Monday. And they got frightened and said, we're moving the show to Wednesday, which is why we did a rerun last week. And then Blacklist, I was supposed to be on Friday, moved to Monday, and I was lucky to get back on Blacklist because they said, well, if you can't make it, that's fine. We're switching days. But I go, no, I'll get back to you. It was just coincidental. The amazing part about New York City, I can never get over this. I arrived there. I got on a 2:15 train, something to that effect. I got to New York City expecting, how am I going to walk all the way to Chelsea Piers in the snow? You got to hand it to the city of New York. It was like it never snowed.
Really?
They clear everything. They got 3,900 plows.
Wow.
The sanitation department really, really does like this, like nobody's business. It was like unbelievable. The floors were not covered in snow anywhere. The streets were open. It's like, wow, how does that possibly happen?
Well, they do what they have to do. I mean, that's their business. They know
That's
what
the
they're
business.
doing.
The city of New York. And speaking of which, we'll be right back with another show. So if you're watching us on Madhouse TV, then stick around, please. Hopefully we'll have some more fun. Fran will be here, and Benny will be here. And if you happen to be watching us on Channel 20, well, stick around next week, and you'll see it at the same time, same place. But from the folks at Madhouse, who I usually love to say, thank you, Michelle. And I'd like to say thank you to that eclectic four, of which one of them's here. Tommy Marr, Janine Zarilli, Vicky Mealy, and my buddy Tom Mealy. Thanks, Tom. Without you, we wouldn't have a restaurant. We wouldn't have a
I don't know
TV
about
studio.
that. I mean, the other four are pretty good, but we'll see what happens.
All right,
But-
Tom. Thanks
all
so
right.
much. We'll
Take
see you then.
Good night.
Watch Legal Straight Talk right here on Long Island Public Access, Channel 20.
Why are you playing with your toys?
I wanted Madhousetv.
I am Jerry Parisi. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Filmmaker Show. And before this, you saw a special one with Tom Mealy as he talked about the new studios, the new restaurant, Mousetrap. It's going to be really exciting. But as planned, wait, that means we have the fastest talking woman in the whole United States, according to the Guinness Book of Records, probably the world. But before we do that, hello, Michelle Parisi. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
What makes you good?
I'm interested in hearing what our guest has to say, and it's exciting.
You think we can catch those words fast enough? Well, without any further ado.
Did you bring your bucket?
My bucket list or my bucket?
No, your bucket to catch the words.
No, I didn't. I was just going to use my mitt.
You're not prepared.
Fran Capo, ladies and gentlemen, the Guinness Book of Records crowns her the fastest talking woman probably in the world.
In the world, yes. So no, I was going, wait a minute, I got demoted. Yes, it's in the world. And it's so funny because I was listening, and this is the first time I met your lovely wife, right?
Thank you.
And it's funny because you're like, how are you? I'm like, what, they don't see each other? Not
today,
like
we didn't. We were busy like crazy.
Well, that's good. This is a great place to be able to catch up now.
That's right.
So
It's very true, as a matter of fact.
So speaking of catching up, okay. So now, yes, I'm doing good. I've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yes, and we notice you have a brand new book.
Yes.
Hopeful.
Hopeville, the City of Light.
That's right. Hopeful. I said Hopeville, not hopeful. Hopeful, Ville,
Ville,
V-I-L-E.
V-I-L-L-E, like
that's
a little
that long,
town.
That's
right.
that Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, exactly. Queens, Brooklyn, whatever.
And tell us about Hopeville, the City of Light.
Okay, I'm really excited about this. You guys, I'm not sure if you know, but I've written 18 books. Okay,
That's awesome.
So Hopeville is my 18th book, but all the other books I said, I'm going to write, a book about, the wise guy, a book called Almost a Wise Guy, which my dad and one brother, a highly decorated police officer, the other one that was in the mob. I wrote Adrenaline Adventures. Hopeville is the only book I had not planned on writing.
Oh.
So what happened was I was literally sleeping at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, what are you usually doing at 4 o'clock? I mean, so there I am sleeping at 4 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden, I hear a voice say, Fran, get up. You have to write a book. So I'm like, this is a weird dream. So I, turn on the light, and I'm like, oh, wow, that was really strange. Turn off the light, go back to sleep. And I hear the voice again say, Fran, get up. You have to write this book. So I'm like going, oh, this is just so I turn on the light again. I look around. I can't tell you whether it was a male or female voice. So I go, all right, well, I don't know if this is a dream. I don't know who you are, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not writing a book. And so I'm arguing with this voice. So, a typical Queens girl, even though I live upstate now.
Oh, that's where I thought you were from Queens, because it said originally Queens.
Yeah, I was originally born in the Village, and then I moved to Queens. Now I live upstate in Putnam. Anyway, so I'm arguing with this voice, and the voice is saying to me, you have to write the book. It has a message that'll change the world. I said, look, I'm in the middle of writing this other book, Adrenaline Adventures. I don't know what you're talking about. Get a pen and paper, write this down. So I'm like going, oh, this voice is not shutting up. I better listen. So I get a pen and paper. Writers, you always sleep with a pen and paper. Get it up. It says, Hopeville, the City of Light. So I write it down. I said, okay, that's it. I'm not writing anymore. 4 o'clock. I'll talk to you later, whoever you are. I turn off the light, I go back to sleep. Next morning, I get up, I take my kid to school, my mom to work, and I had to get my car fixed that day. So usually when I have to, because, I don't have another car, I can't drive 2 cars to the place. So I go there, I say to the guy, hey, is it okay if you give me like a little space that I can put my laptop and I can work on a chapter of my book while you're fixing my car? So the guy says, yeah. So he actually lets me in the back of the shop, where the guys are like working on the stuff, the tools are, all the noise. So I have never had writer's block in my entire life. So there I am at my computer, ready to write my chapter on sharks, because it's Adrenaline Adventures. And I go to type, and I am telling you, physically, my fingers would not type. So I go like this, and I'm like going, okay, what am I getting? Like arthritis? What the heck? Why can't I? And I'm like going, this is the weirdest thing. So I'm like going, well, I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and not do anything. So I was like, all right, what was the name of that thing? So I had it in my pocket, and I take it out, and I put it down, and I'm like, Hopeville, the city of light. And I swear to you, for the next 3 hours, I cannot tell you what I wrote at that time. So as soon as I wrote the words, the end, the guy goes, Fran, your car's ready. I said, oh. He goes, that was the weirdest thing. I go, what? He goes, well, we looked over at you a couple of times. You didn't move, you didn't breathe, you didn't drink water, you didn't go to the bathroom, didn't look like you were blinking. He goes, you look like a zombie just typing. I said, honestly, I think I wrote a book. He goes, how do you not know? I can't tell you one word that's in that book. So he goes, all right, when you figure out, let me know. So now, here I go back, as I was on deadline for Adrenaline Adventures, the other book. So I take Hopeville, leave it on the side, finish my book up. This was in April. Finish my book up and, get into the publisher, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I start going, well, maybe at some point they should look at this Hopeville thing and see if it even makes sense. So I start reading it. And it's about a little boy who gets bullied, a widowed mother who's got a couple of jobs and is trying to make ends meet. Old man who's like really discouraged with life, and a successful businessman who gave up everything to, build his business. And all of them are very discouraged. And at the same night, they all say a prayer, and an angel of light appears to each of them and says to them, I'm going to tell you something that you need to do, just a little thing that will change your lives. And create a domino effect in the town. And the little boy's like, I'm just a little boy, nobody's going to listen to me, I'm just a widowed woman. And the angel convinces them to do this. And she talks about lighting another person's candle and, lighting another person's spirit. And so there's obstacles. The town at first loves everything that's happening, but then they start taking it for granted. And the angel gets upset that she gave them a gift and they are basically not utilizing it. So she threatens to take it away and sends these 4 messengers to try to save the town. I'm not going to tell you the end of it, but it goes. So I go, wow, this is actually a very complicated story. And I'm like going, this is pretty good. I don't know. I didn't think of it. I had no knowledge of this story before.
How do you think that happened?
Honestly, it's never happened to me since or before, but every single time I get ready to start promoting the book, and at that point in time, now it's going to really sound weird, but I don't care. At this point, I tell everybody. At that point in time, I wasn't like talking to Mother Mary or doing any of these things. Now, every single time I start promoting the book, literally out of nowhere, something will happen where a medallion of Mother Mary will show up. Just these
Wow.
weird things.
Here I thought this was the St. Joseph the Worker getting you started, and if you're going to have a baby still being a virgin.
Yeah,
but I guess...
No, it was Mother Mary. I already had my kid. No, I did it the traditional way. So so much for that.
How do you like that? She wasn't a virgin.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This whole thing sounds like that a movie should be made. All you
Of the
filmmakers out there.
backstory. It's like so weird.
Of you and how it leads into this book.
And in the book, I actually put the story I just told you in the forward, and then it goes into the actual story.
You were channeling something.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest, I didn't even know what channeling was back then. So, but every single time, I would say like then I started getting guilty because I wasn't doing anything with the book. So all of a sudden I started going, well, somebody gave me this book, like, and I die and go to heaven. I could just picture God going, I give you a book? What, you don't listen? Now sweep the floor. Then I'll be in heaven sweeping or something because they gave me a message. So this was literally back.
And I knew those budget cuts in heaven really.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I mean, it tells you, it affects you everywhere. So, but the thing is, it is so weird about the things that happen. So I didn't do anything with the book. That was back in 2004. So I let the manuscript just sit there. And then what happened was, at one point they said, I better do something. So I literally went to Staples and printed up 50 copies of the book. In one day, all 50 copies sold. Okay?
Wow.
Then I left it again. Didn't do anything until 2014. 10 years passed.
Wow.
Because I kept going, I should do something. And then I was like, all right, I really better do something. Because in between, I was writing all these other books, ones I consciously. And so 2014, yeah, 2014, I said, I should do something with this book. So I make it into an ebook. And I'm not, you could go look. I mean, the numbers are there. I have all the papers are printed. In one day, it hits number 11 on Amazon.
Wow.
So now I'm like going, okay, and you think I would do something with that? No. Again, I go, well, okay, that's pretty good. I guess that's good. Then people started reading it and saying, are you going to make it into a soft cover book? And I was like, no, it's an ebook. That's the popular thing right now. So then I kept saying, the voice said that I have to get the message out to everybody. Am I not doing what I'm supposed to do? So I say this prayer. This was last year, 2015, right? I say a prayer, and I say, okay, Mom, Mother, at that point my mother had passed. Her name was Rose. I'm like, okay, Mom, Mother Mary, if I'm supposed to get this book out, you need to tell me how I'm supposed to get this around the world. I say this prayer. The next day, I wake up to a phone call from a friend going, Fran, congratulations, you're in Metro, Metro News. I go, I don't even know what Metro News is. Then another friend goes, I saw you on ABC this morning. I go, that's impossible. I'm laying in bed. So I call my son. I'm like, Spencer, what is everybody talking about? So he goes online. He goes, Mom, there's a video of you that went viral. It's in Czechoslovakia, Scandinavia, Croatia, China. I'm like, what? I go, what video? I didn't post any video. A video I had done 3 years prior with True TV. The guy saw it on the shelf, decided to edit it, put it up, and it went viral. So that day, I start getting phone calls from Fox, from Huffington Post, from New York Times. Can we do stories on your fast talking? I said, well, only if we could talk about my book, Hopeville. And some said yes, some said no. So I started talking about the book, Hopeville. Remember, at this point, it's still just an ebook. I'm getting ready to go leave now. I was doing 17 shows in 10 days for the military in South Korea, going from the DMZ zone all down to the tip.
Wow.
A lady calls me out of the blue. She tracks me down and she goes, hi, I heard about your book on TV. I ordered the e-copy and I read it. And I want to know if you're going to make it into a soft cover. I said, no, that wasn't my plan. She goes, my husband died 6 months ago. This is the only thing that gave me comfort. I want to give it as a gift to other people. Wow. So then I started going, I'm leaving it for Korea in 3 days. And then I knew there was a company that could turn around and print books. So I printed like 250 books. Brought some I didn't bring any to the military because you weren't allowed to, but I offered any military person who wants a copy of the book gets a free e-copy of the book, providing they send it to me from their military thing. So I start getting the book out, and what starts happening is people are giving copies to people. All of a sudden, somebody orders one copy, comes back, orders 20 copies. Then that person orders 10 copies. Then another person orders 20 copies. Then Miller Coors actually ordered a bunch of copies to give to people in their corporation. Then Pfizer offered a bunch of copies to get to people in their corporation. And it just started growing like that. Then someone said just recently, can you make it into a CD? So this Valentine's Day, it comes out now in CD. And the candle, because it talks about lighting another person's light, the candle, literally I just got like 2 days ago, a comedian slash artist by the name of Johnny Rizzo told me, "Oh yeah, I'm putting celebrities on candles," and he just said it out of the blue, and then I went, "Hopeful candle, can you do a Hopeful candle?"
That's great.
And so then he did this. So this is the first time we're displaying it, and now I'm just gun ho about spreading the word. And when I say to you every time I go, "Mom, Mother Mary, do you know if this is happening?" They know I'm very thick, I guess, up there. I don't get a message. It always comes from other people. So, and it always, this is hysterical. I'm Catholic. It always comes from Jewish people. Okay?
Look at that. The Jews are back again.
I'm telling you. And then I'm going, why is Mother Mary speaking to the Jews? Yeah, and then I'm like, well, Jesus.
Why is she speaking to the Jews?
I don't know.
And Jesus was Jewish. So there you go. Who knows? You know, his
right.
mother.
That's
so
right.
My friend emails me a couple of days ago. She goes, "All right, what's going on?" I go, "Why?" I said, she goes, "I'm in Starbucks by Barnes & Noble." She goes, "Nobody is within 15 feet of me." Now, I had asked the night before, give me a sign that I'm doing the right things by spreading this word. She goes, "And I feel something brush against my leg like that." She's by her calf. She goes, "I look around. There's nobody there." I look down. There's a Mother Mary miraculous medal lying on the floor. She literally sends me a picture of it. Things, I could tell you 20 stories like that, all surrounding this book.
Can you say them fast?
Well, I could say them really fast, but nobody would understand.
Let's
But
hear
I
a
could
little
just say-
bit.
Yeah. Okay, let me just think of one of the stories that I could say fast. Okay, here we go.
Are you ready?
Are we ready? So the other night I was performing in Waterbury, Connecticut, at a place called Seven Angels Theater, which, by the way, I didn't know that Seven Angels Theater actually had a town that was really close, and it had a town called Hopeville. And I was like, there's really a town called Hopeville? I had no idea there was a town called Hopeville next to the Seven Angels Theater. Anyway, so there I am performing. I think I'm just going to do a regular comedy show. And who shows up in the audience? Lou Diamond Phillips. He's in the audience, and all of a sudden I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Oh, well, I got a show that I'm going to be performing, blah, blah." He comes on, he sees me in the audience performing, and, and on stage performing. It's really hard to do it fast because I'm not used to doing this story fast.
okay, it's
But
okay.
anyway, so long story short, I hand him a copy of my book, Hopeful the City of Light, at the end of the night, and then I run into the dressing room to get my coat. I had been in the dressing room 5 times prior that night. I run by, all of a sudden, a place that I had not seen before. The door was open, and I saw roses. Roses are always signed from my mom, and I go, "Oh, wow, hi, Mom." See the roses, and then the door opens a little bit more, and there's a Mother Mary next to the roses. So I was like, "Excuse me, can you take a picture of me with the Mother Mary and the roses?
Wow.
I'll explain to you later why." And this was only a week ago.
Wow.
Wow.
I did follow your story, but
I
I
know,
followed
and that
him.
was slow. I mean, if you want a fast-talking demonstration, because we said it, I could do it now, we can do it later.
Give me a
whatever.
fast-talking
Okay, here we go.
demonstration.
we want to
So
hear it.
I do this thing at the end of my stand-up comedy act called Evelyn Wood reading her kids a bedtime story.
Got it.
So I go, "Okay, kids, Mommy's going to read you The Three Little Pigs."
Aww.
What's your time, the 3 little pigs? One little pig likes to sing, the second little pig likes to dance, the third little pig likes to sit and think. Little pig will come on. Little pig, let me in. Upper pig, chee chin. Up and up, wait, stuff you up. What's the next pig's house? Little pig, let me in. Upper pig, chee chin. Stuff you up. What's the third pig's house? Little pig, let me in. Upper pig, chee chin. Stuff you up. Third, you up. Got some in a climb down the chimney. Pigs had a pot of boiling water. The wolf and the wolf soup. Tomorrow, War and Peace. There you go.
Well,
Wait a minute. Wait.
And they do that. Oh, wait, I should just say one thing more about Hopeville, and then we can talk about the fast talking. There's a website called Hopeville, the City of Light. .com. And if people
fine.
go there, if you're from the military, you can go there. And right now, this school is raising $5,000 sponsorship because they want to be able to donate 500 books to kids who can't afford it.
wow.
Wow.
So that's all on HopevilleTheCityOfLight.com.
Okay.
Okay, now,
So-
what were you going to ask me about my fast talking? I saw it.
How did you get into this? How did this evolve?
The fast talking.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a stand-up comic, but I was working at a radio station, WBLS-FM in New York City.
Right.
And I was writing comedy for them. And then kidding around one day, I said, you know what? I can do this really cool Mae West impression. But I called the character June East, Mae West's long-lost sister. So the guy flings the weather and traffic copy at me, and you know in radio, when the little red tally light comes on, you have to start talking. So I see the light, I have the copy, so I'm like, today the weather and traffic is. And in the 30 seconds I happened to do it, a lady from the Daily News was listening. She calls the station. She goes, listen, I'm writing a story on weather and traffic people. How long you been doing it? So I'm not going to tell her 30 seconds. So I said, I've been doing it a while. So she said, really? Well, what are you planning on doing next? I didn't have a next, but I had the lady from the Daily News. So I said, oh, I'm thinking of breaking a world record. And she's like, really, for what? And I was like, I can't tell you because it'll jinx it. She goes, listen, the article has to go in at 6 o'clock today. If you decide you want to let me know, give me a call. So I run out and buy a Guinness book. So I'm looking through the book, like, pogo stick and blah, blah. I see fast talking. I was like, yeah, I always talk fast. So I call up the lady, Dinah Prince from the Daily News, and I call up and I say, all right, I'll tell you. I'm thinking of breaking the record for fast talking. She goes, what's the record? I'm literally standing there in a phone booth, holding back then, holding, the book, and I'm like, oh, the record's 552 words a minute. And she goes, what are you at? I went, 550. Those last 2 words are a killer. So she prints it in the paper, and the very next day, the Larry King Live people call me up and ask me to go on the show and break the record. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't know who Larry King was. All I heard was cable. And I went, cable? Is this some kind of porn thing? And they were like, honey, no, this is a national show. I said, what if I don't break the record? They go, Larry doesn't care whether you break the record or not. He just cares that you do it first on his show. It's like, all right. So I called up again and said, what do you have to do? They said something from Shakespeare or the Bible. Me and Shakespeare never got along. I had a prayer from the Bible. So then they tell me that a limo is going to come to my house and pick me up in 5 hours, okay, to go on the
Larry
show,
King.
right? So I'm over there for 5 hours. Yeah, Darcy, place the massage. Like, like smoke's coming out of my head. I'm like trying to read this thing. I get to the studio. At that point, I break the record doing 585 words a minute, and then I rebroke it at the Guinness Museum in Vegas doing 603.32 words a minute, which comes out to 11 words a second.
Wow.
I just realized something. Oh, this is really weird, and I can't believe I just realized this on your show. As I've been doing all these interviews with Hopeville, the City of Light, if you see it, the L's on the title of Hopeville,
Yeah, let's see.
right there, these
Yeah.
L's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the L's over here. I did not notice this, but people said, they look like the number 11.
Yes,
So I was like,
I saw that.
okay. So then they go, you do know the significance 11 means spiritual message. I said, no, I didn't. And just now when I said to you,
We have to hold this book up.
I said,
Yeah,
just,
grab it, hon.
there. So there, the number 11 in the L.
Vicky actually has
Sure.
Yeah, but I did not know that.
I don't think we're going to get a close-up of that. Vicky, could you throw the other one up? Let's just pull it up because that's it. Yeah, we'll go up right now. There you go.
So
It's a
people
lot
have
easier. Let me see
been
something.
telling me these things, and I was like, okay.
You're using Times Roman and you condense
I
it.
didn't do it.
Yeah, they use
the
Times
author-
Roman.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's so I was like, okay,
Squeezed.
why does it look like this? I don't know. And so just now when I said to you, because everybody's been telling me all these things, do you know this? Do you know this? So when I just heard myself say 11 words a second, I went, oh, there's another 11. Because people are making me conscious of things as they're telling me. They're going, do you know your book's this? And 44 secrets or happiness are in the book. And it's everything like don't run from bullies, like there's light at the end of the tunnel, the hell with that, bring your own flashlight. It's like all these positive things, but it's woven within the story, all these messages.
Sure.
And so somebody said to me, why do you have 44 messages? I'm like, I don't know, that's what was in the book. Remember, I didn't plan this. She goes, oh, well, there's Angel 44. I go, what do you mean, the
What's
angel's
Angel
a number?
44?
I never heard of this. Angel 44 is apparently a messenger to give light to the world. I'm
Wow.
like,
Angel 44?
yeah, and I go, what is this, like Agent 99? Like, what? I said, is there an Angel 33, an Angel 32? I mean, these are things, look, I just wrote the book. Half the times I don't remember what the story's about. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I obviously, every time I read it, I go, this is a good story.
I have a question. Did you do any revisions from your original
Okay.
time that you sat at the gas station typing it?
That's a great question. And I never knew whether I should do it or not because I kept going, if a voice gave me this, am I supposed to change anything? Do you remember that guy? I think his name is Donald Walsh. He wrote the book Conversations with God. I don't remember his name.
I got to be honest, I don't read a whole lot. It's probably
There's a
sad
book called,
that I don't.
All right, called Conversations with God, right? And a friend of mine is like really into his book. She goes, oh, this guy's going to be speaking. And I said, no offense, I don't want to meet the guy. I want to meet the guy's editor. So we go to this event, and the guy had done a tour of the whole United States, and he makes an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here in New York, it's our last night in New York. And my publisher and my editor happened to be here. And he goes, this is the end tour, and they just happened to show up here in New York. Now, I had said, I need to speak to his editor. So everybody rushes to get the book autographed by the author. I walk over to the editor and go, I just have one question for you. I said, did you edit Conversations with God? And then he goes, how do you edit God?
Aha! And with that, let me just tell you, hold on to that last piece. It's a great cliffhanger. Michelle Parisi, thank you for being here with me tonight. We'll be right back. If you're watching Madhouse TV, it's a special long show. We got Benny Rizzuti coming up, which is amazing. Fran will be staying with us. We want to thank Tom Ely on the earlier show. I got to thank Vicky for allowing us a third show tonight due to the inclement weather. And Fran got here to do her full show, which is really important. So from Madhouse TV, if you're watching us tonight in Madhouse, stick around. One more show. And we know you like this idea. If you're on Channel 20, well, now you got to wait 3 more weeks for the show. On behalf of Madhouse TV, we'll see you in just a few more minutes.
Watch Legal Straight Talk right here on Long Island Public Access, Channel 20.
Why are you playing with your toys?
I watching Madhousetv.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome back to Madhouse TV tonight and the Filmmaker Show. And of course,
Jerry Parisi, please come to the lobby. Jerry, come to the lobby. You have a Betty Gaboots, Barazzuti, Gabats, or something like that waiting for you in the lobby, Jerry.
and this is what
Please come to the lobby, Jerry.
we've come to expect all kinds of things on Madhouse TV, but he did mention somebody from Madhouse's TV show, The Gagoots Show, and we are proud to have Mr. Benny Rizzuti from The Gagoots Show, which airs here on Tuesday night.
Tuesday at 6 to 7 p.m.
There you go,
Every
6 to
Tuesday.
7. And with us again, and Benny's actually here to help her, Miss Fran Capo, the world's fastest talker, as noted by the Guinness Book of Records. We also have one more person I'm not going to introduce. She can introduce herself.
I'm Michelle Parisi, but it wasn't supposed to go like that. You don't have it down yet, right?
Yeah, but he got interrupted
By
because
Tom Mealy in his megaphone.
No, it was before that.
Okay, so
You'll get it down.
how
You'll
is
have to
this
rehearse-
supposed?
he was
Never
about
mind.
to know.
You'll have to rehearse it.
I have to
That's it.
defend him. I have to defend Jerry.
There you go, one
He
Italian to another.
No, this is truth. He was saying, and all of a sudden,
That's
Tom,
true.
No,
he was
I'm
about,
supposed to introduce myself.
Without
It's supposed to go, I'm Jerry Parisi.
I'm Jerry
and,
Parisi.
and I'm Michelle Parisi, and you're watching the Filmmakers Show. That's the way it's supposed to go.
Everybody make note of that tonight, because
Okay.
when you watch it, there you go.
We're going to see if next time you do it. We're going to watch. We're going to watch. And I think it's amazing that we said the guy's in the lobby and the next thing he's sitting right
And,
there.
and if you don't do it, she may have to channel you.
That's it.
There you go.
I'm going to get Mother Mary to smack you in the back of the head. No.
you're the world's fastest talker, and I'm the world's fastest crawler.
Yeah, you got
crawled
it.
While he was
I didn't want to say that because I saw you on your hands and knees.
Well,
But,
yeah.
you know, there you go.
That's not a bad thing.
I've been married for close to 25 years. I've been crawling and begging for a long time.
That's,
And
this
Benny,
is a whole other
Hey,
show
Benny,
now.
Benny,
No.
teach him how.
That's right.
you know, I would say an Italian can't do it, but he's Italian, so I don't.
I'm Sicilian.
I am too.
Respectful. We respect people.
I'm very respectful.
And humble.
There you go. I'm
Yeah.
very humble. I'm shy
yeah.
too.
Right, that's why you guys host a TV show because you're so humble.
You know, this is almost more than 2 years already.
I
we're
didn't
doing this
really
show.
come here to talk about my show.
No,
but I
you
want-
wanna talk
but I wanna
about-
say, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
talk about Fran, but I want to say because he brought something up. My show has evolved. And
Yes.
I've made a move recently on my show that
Yes.
some people would consider genius and other people would consider foolish or both. I'm the executive producer, but I now have 2 women who open the show, and they are the hosts who do the interviews.
Nice.
You don't do
And
the
I'm
interviews?
sometimes, but now they open so the way Nicole and I would just talk. Now I have Jeannie and Nicole talk, and a lot of people think that, wow, that's great. You have 2 attractive women who are funny and witty, and they talk the first 15 minutes, and then I come out and I do my own segment now in a different set. So
Wow.
we bounce around, and so I'm at the newsroom set, and I do what I call Breaking Wind with Benny Rizzuti.
Because that's so classy. I like that. Yeah.
So
We're going for comedy. We're going for comedy.
I know. He says that as he's sitting next to me. I feel very nervous now. Okay.
well, he's got a pillow between his
I know.
ears.
I put the pillow because I was just not sure where he was going with
When I
this.
said with the but what it actually is, I've done movie reviews, book reviews.
That's nice.
I have other comics come on with me, and we could rant. We could talk about current events and things. And my first segment that I did by myself,
Yeah.
my first Breaking Wind, it was just before the holidays. So I did reviews on books. I did this book on my review.
Did you?
I have it, yes. I have it on, it's on my channel. I took 2 of those. I did one by myself, and I did one with John Santo, impressionist John Santo. And we did, so I put them on the Breaking Wind segment on the Gagoot Show channel on YouTube. But my first one, I did a review on Hopeville and talked about how much I love it. I read it again the second time this Sunday.
Oh,
because
thank you.
I came to this show for Fran. I'm here, like when Lawrence of Arabia said, "Why did you come to the desert?" I came for you, Lawrence. I came for you, dear.
Oh, thank you.
I
Oh,
she's
so
my
sweet.
hero. She's my hero. And in a half hour, I can't
How
tell
did you guys
So,
meet?
We met from
On a dating site? No.
No, my wife Nancy booked her. Nancy booked her and got her to come to the Gagoot Show on our Halloween show. It turned out Fran came on, and everybody was wearing a costume.
Oh, that must have been
That's
funny.
funny.
Yeah, there was somebody sitting. Was that your wife? Actually,
No,
somebody
my
was
wife wasn't.
sitting there like in a mask where you couldn't see their face.
You know that
I'm like,
bodysuit? That was Jeannie
Oh,
Powell.
Yeah.
Jeannie Powell. We should mention that Nicole is Nicole LaMonaco.
Nicole LaMonaco.
And Jeannie is Jeannie Powers.
Jeannie
For those
Powers.
of you who are not, but should get acquainted with the Gagoot Show.
Thank you for bringing that
That's
up. But
okay.
anyway, so my first Breaking Wind I did for the holidays. I said you should buy this book, and I purchased 2 copies. I gave one to my niece on Christmas, and hope you brought some copies because I want to buy a couple more.
yes, I did. I
All
always
right, I
have
wanna buy
copies
2
in
more.
the trunk.
And you have the candles for sale too?
Yes, I do.
Because my wife loves candles, so I may be
Oh,
buying 2
perfect.
books and a candle.
I
That's
love it.
very nice.
So anyway, so I did it. A friend of mine, Steve O, wrote a book. You remember Steve O?
I
the
know
comedian?
Steve O. Yes.
Okay, he wrote a book, and I told him I love this book, but I said Steve O's book, the acknowledgments. I said I was 15 pages into it. Actually, I read the acknowledgment page 15 times and didn't see my name. I saw all my friends' names in it, but I didn't see the name of the guy who used to drive Steve to the gigs when he didn't have a car. So Steve wrote, and he was like, he was like, "I'm very sorry," he was. But I joked. But the first book I talked about was this book.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. I'll show it to you, but I'm going to put another video. When Fran did our show, okay, Nancy booked, and when she did our show, we got the highest numbers we did. We get good numbers. The highest numbers we ever got on the Gagoot Show, we got when Fran was on it.
Nice.
And we got over 300 emails of people who loved her.
That's great.
And
Thank you. I was like, my God. But Nancy wrote me that. I was like, really? That's so nice. Tell them all thank you. You know?
Yes, a lot of, and this book, to me, it looks like a little book, but it's a very powerful story.
It
and
sounds.
it's more than,
It sounds like it's. An
It is. And
amazing
Vicky, if you
than
could
just-
throw that cover back up again, if you wouldn't mind, so that those watching this show can see that cover. I'm sure we'd all appreciate that. There we go. That's the book. I just wanted to hold up. So go ahead.
it is more than a story. It's actually a guideline to how to live your life.
That's nice.
It is, because at the end of the book, it not only, Fran had spoken in the last show, it has the 44 lessons of Hopeville.
Right.
But as soon as you finish the story, it has
A test?
Fran's, there's a test. Fran's 10 simple daily things to do to achieve happiness.
Oh, let's hear those.
Oh, I
I'm
actually
sh-
forgot about it.
Can you?
He's like really
what
good.
are those 10
I
things?
told you, I read this Sunday for the second time because I'm one of those people that I don't always remember. Like, I go to church, I need the prayer book because I forget the prayers, and I've been
Right.
doing them for 60
Isn't that
years.
funny? I go to church every Sunday, but I text. Because
Oh,
I can't.
nice.
I
Text
can't.
God? I hope you're texting God.
No, I can't take the priest with the same old sermon 60 years in a row at this point.
No,
So
no,
I just
I go to Bay Shore. I grew up in Bay Shore.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be in confession next week.
And yeah,
Yeah, right.
But anyway, forget about church right now. This book is beautiful. It is. It's more.
So what
it's
are
a
the
guideline.
10?
Yeah, what are the 10?
Okay, you want?
Yeah.
You want to read those?
Well, I mean, it doesn't
You're the
matter.
fastest talker. Go
Yeah,
for it.
right. Well, I'll do some of them. Like, for example, gratitude every morning before you get out of bed. Think of the thing you're grateful for. The reason it has to be new each day is because otherwise it becomes a habit, and you wind up doing it as a verbal routine instead of being from the heart.
Oh.
Plus, if you pick one new thing a day in a year, you have 365 things you're grateful for.
You know what I'm grateful
That's
for?
beautiful.
Younger. It's We're going to go home and watch it. That's the next thing. Go ahead.
Okay, it doesn't matter. As long as you're grateful for something. Then the next one, now, it's, some of these seem simple. This one was smile and institute a 10-foot rule. Because sometimes people are so in their head that they don't even notice that somebody's near them. So if you're within 10 feet of somebody, smile. And, your physiology changes when you smile. Like, if you ever notice if you're in a car and you just do like that, and all of a sudden you just smile, it's hard to be upset when you're smiling. So
that's interesting.
And if you smile, I'm somebody who naturally smiles. And
Yeah.
So a lot of people say they love me because I'm always smiling. And I've learned through the years of smiling that you will get strangers who will look and they will smile.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll make
sure.
somebody else
That
happy.
happens all the time.
It's not
I
like we don't
understand that.
exchange words.
No, it's a
just-
smile. It's a nice greeting.
And it's just a simple little things that you could do every day because people a lot of times, I don't have time, I don't have time. Then the other thing is, there's the 10 rules here. Thank you for bringing this up. Laugh.
Sure.
Learn to laugh at yourself instead of getting mad. Find something to laugh about every day, a cartoon, a past memory, anything but make laughter a daily part of your routine. It's as important as breathing. If you do this, you'll notice a change in your attitude and the healing powers of laughter in every aspect of your life. And then the next one is a few minutes to yourself. People go, I don't have time for myself. Even if you get your nails done and then you do those 5-minute, $5 massage, type of thing, just take a bubble bath. Just do something, sit down, breathe, like a meditative breath. You can't neglect yourself because if you do, you neglect your sanity. You make it a habit. When you habitually treat yourself well and make yourself important, you feel better no matter what is going on. Then the next one says, I love you. Now here seems like very simple. Say I love you to all the important people in your life on a daily basis. Then I want you to do the hardest thing, the most important thing. Look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I love you.
I love you.
Because, you look at yourself every day in the
Jerry's
eyes.
got no problem with that.
No, he
I
doesn't.
have no problem.
You notice he practiced the mirror.
I
the
love
other
you.
time. Now, when you start kissing yourself in the mirror, that might be another
Tell him
thing.
what
But
he-
you can't do one of these.
Tell her what you believe about yourself.
I'm a demigod.
Oh, there you go. See,
You don't know that? I'm a god in training.
I did not know that.
Yes, demigod. Not there yet.
Not there yet.
Like when Amy Schumer came in on Inside Amy Schumer, she sat next to me.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that's a god. But I'm a demigod.
But here's the thing. You practice on this planet. By the time you get to heaven, you'll be perfect.
You don't know what's going on in heaven these days. Listen, there's a problem in heaven these days. I don't know if you know.
I might be sweeping if I don't get
No,
the message out.
you
Okay.
probably will get that
I
job.
heard you say
I
that
got to tell you,
before,
they
yeah.
closed purgatory. That was very sad.
They did?
They did. So if you die on a weekend, that's it. You got to wait till Monday morning. How big that line is to get into heaven, just to get read where you're going. They had they let go 6 apostles.
Wow, the economy's that bad. huh?
Mother, I got knew you. Mary Magdalene reopened the massage parlor East Side.
We must-
I am.
He's going to hell.
I'm telling you, he's going with those apostles.
I got
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
news for you. Hell is not as hot as it used to be. Only in the 90s, and I'm good with that because they can't afford the fuel.
I don't think hell really is hot like people. I think hell is you get to see your life and what a moron and miserable person you
Over
are.
and over
That's
and
a
over
really
again.
interesting thing. Oh, so you can really figure out where you made your mistakes.
because there-
Why didn't I have sex with that girl? Damn it!
Yeah.
See?
No, but there are people.
He's in smacking distance. You do understand that, right?
My poor wife, what she doesn't put up with. Go ahead.
You're not kidding.
Tell them, Michelle. Go ahead. Tell
Yeah,
them.
tell him, Michelle. Go ahead, tell him right on the air.
No, don't
No.
let me get started.
All right, we're not going to let her get started. Go
Okay.
ahead,
Oh,
next.
so, all right, so another one, 1 step a day. Decide what you want. Brainstorm. Decide a plan of action and just take 1 baby step a day towards that goal. In a year, you'll be 365 steps closer to your dream. Because people always go like, I have so many people say to me, oh, I want to write a book. And then I'll see them 4 years later and they're still like, I want to write a book. I'm like, did you start it?
You know, you're right. There's a lot of procrastinators out there. You're right. You're right.
So if you just do 1 step a day, and people always say to me, how do I get all these things done? Because I've done, 18 books in 10 years. I hold 6 world records. I bungee cord jumped, scuba dived shark, flown combat aircraft, driven race cars. And I literally will get something in my head, and the second I get it, I go, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm not sure yet how, but I'm going to do that. And once I get it in my head, then I just focus on making that dream a reality. And so you just do one step at a time. If you try to, digest the whole thing, then it's like, oh my gosh, I'll never get there. It's too big. But if you just go, all I got to do today is make 3 phone calls. All I got to do today is this. You get one step closer to it, and it doesn't seem. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wow, look how far I am.
Sure.
Yep.
That's why so many people who say they want to write or do something, they think big. Their first project, some people think, like, I'm going to write this big trilogy, or I'm going to write.
Right. But the thing is, even if they think big, the thing is, you have to still break it down. Like, no one wants to hear a simple answer. Like, someone goes, how do you write a book? And then you say something like word by word, and they're like, no, seriously, how do you write it? I'm like, word by word. Don't go thinking, I got to write this. I would literally, anytime I got asked to do a book outside of this one, because this one I wrote in 3 hours, but when I had to do the other books, I would go, okay, I was told there has to be 18 chapters. Okay, so if I do a chapter a week, that's 18 weeks. And so then I could research it for 2 days, and then I'd write the chapter the next day, and then I have to fix it the next day.
Right.
So each chapter will take me this. Now go back 18 weeks, consider something will happen, a snowstorm, blah, blah, blah. Go back 21 weeks, and I'll have the book done. And I just plan it in my head like that. So, never give up. This is a big one.
I think people don't know how to get started.
But what's to think about starting? You just
They
do
think
it?
they have to start from once upon a time, so
No,
they get stuck.
let me tell you something,
They get
'cause I
stuck
wrote-
because they can't start.
People, block themselves. If you want to do something, you find a way. If you don't, you find an excuse.
Right.
People block themselves. Why? Because what happens is they'll go, oh, I want to do it. Okay, let's just say weight loss for, I want to lose weight. And then they're like, oh, but I'll start next week. Why? Let's say you eat 5 donuts every day. Eat 3 or 4. You have to just take one step. You don't have to do this big, gigantic thing to accomplish it. So it doesn't matter where you start. When I write a book, I don't sit down and write it for perfection. I just write the book, and then I go, I'll worry about editing it later. And then I go back in again. You just don't judge yourself. You don't have enough people in the
process.
world judging yourself. Just do your thing.
Right.
What you're saying, Michelle, is like a lot of people get hung up on, say, the opening sentence or the opening.
So then
they
start
get
at the get the plot down.
Just get it out.
And
Yeah, they don't think that way. They think
Well,
that they
tell
have
them
to
to
start
think
at the
that
beginning.
way.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You'd be a great motivational speaker.
Well, I
I'm
do
sure
do
you-
that,
I'm
actually.
sure.
I do
Sure.
motivational speaker,
Sure.
speaking around the world. I've performed on every continent, even Antarctica. And people like,
Wow.
who the hell was in Antarctica? I'm like, the penguins. They would dress very nicely.
And she can sell ice to an Eskimo.
You
Look
know
at
what someone once said to me? That I could sell a drowning man a brick and tell him it's a flotation device. I said, I wouldn't do that, but, my thing is...
Now, Tom Mealy would, though.
Okay, I don't know who he is. Oh, Tom.
Yeah,
Tom, yeah. But my thing is like, if you're excited about something, your passion, takes it there. Like I have, I convince people who say, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, come on, just jump in the water. You could do the polar bear plunge. I don't like cold water. No one's saying you have to swim in it. Just go for 2 seconds. And everything is how you break it down to people. And I think
That's something you would never get him to do.
What's that?
To jump into cold water in the
I
middle of
hate
winter.
cold water.
Yeah, but here's the thing. No one said, we're not talking about whether you hate it or like it. We're talking about whether you would do it.
You want to know what? If the cause was right,
Exactly.
I would do anything. Everybody knows me that I'm
Really?
not a quitter, sure.
With your broken thermostat and everything?
If it meant somebody got something good out of something,
we said?
then I would do it. What's the next one? That sounds so good.
Okay, so the list. Every day say, all I have to do today to be a success is. Keep it small, keep it balanced, don't overwhelm yourself, but always move forward.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, oh, so many things on my list. Why do you have to put 20 things on your list? Put 5 things on your list. And this is what I do. Every day I make a list of things
Me
I have to
too,
do.
yeah.
And I won't go to bed until I accomplish every one of those things on the list. And then if for some reason it doesn't, it comes off that day, goes back
Goes on
on
to the
the
next.
next day.
Agreed.
You know,
agreed.
but you don't have to get, but the thing is, if you at least have a plan,
Sure.
then you accomplish that. And I also keep a journal of everything I do. So then I'll write down, like today, did your show.
With Jerry Parisi, who's very good looking. Go ahead, go for it.
Right. And his wife was gorgeous. You see,
Yes.
look at him right away. Right all about him. Okay.
Very
right.
good.
I've never spent so much time with a narcissist in my life.
Never?
What's
Look
the
at that.
name?
He's going, who's Okay.
Good.
Then visualize your success. I don't know if you guys know about visualization.
Yes.
Everybody seems to because of The Secret.
Yes.
But honestly, it depends on where your mind is at. But we are just energy beings, right? Listen. Don't you think you can walk into a room and if
Sure.
if somebody's got negative energy,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
don't even know the person,
And you can
and
feel
you
it.
can feel
You
it. You're
could
like,
feel it. You could
whoa,
feel it.
what happened in here? You could feel it, right? Now, the same thing happens when you're visualizing. All you're doing is attracting like energy to yourself.
That's exactly right.
what you're doing. So, but when you think about it, people, visualization. You know what? Every single thing in this room, this flower, this couch, everything at one point started in someone's mind. And
Sure.
someone said, oh, what if we make something that you could sit on? And what if it was
Absolutely.
right? And they pictured it, they drew it, they planned it, they made it. So people visualize all the time. They just add a word and they make it sound so difficult. So the whole point is every night, the two most important times to visualize is in the morning when you first wake up, when it's nice and quiet, and right before you go to bed so you drift off into sleep. So, and it goes into your subconscious mind. And that's the best time to visualize. And the other thing is ignore critics.
Oh, all the
Consider
time.
them a nuisance or a challenge.
Just ignore them.
Yeah. You know what? You see, right away. You got the ghost critic over here. Wherever
No,
they
that's
were.
Tom Mealy. He's not a ghost.
Okay. Well, why is he behind the wall?
Because he had to go to the other room.
Oh, well, and he's making noise because he wants to be here. First, the megaphone wasn't enough. Don't be a victim to their negative thinking. You don't have to react to others. That's the other thing. It's like, visualize. I always say to my son, they're just like a pimple on your ass. Don't even think about them. Or
I got a very bad visual with that.
sorry. Well, basically what I'm saying is if you create like a bubble between you and a negative person,
Yeah.
just if someone gives you a gift and you don't accept it, who does the gift belong to?
It still belongs to you. Oh, if you don't accept it.
If you don't accept
that
it.
still belongs to them.
Okay, so if they give you negative energy and you don't accept it, who's the negative energy belong to?
Stay with them. I never keep
Exactly.
negative energy.
Right. So that's the same thing. Why would you accept their negative energy if you don't want it?
Well, if it was wrapped nicely in a box.
Yeah, but if you see that the box looks radioactive, you do not take that box.
Oh, here, grab it.
And then you just wrote.
Oh, yeah, puts them in control, know what you want. This is your life. Inhale life, exhale pain. Light your own candle and create your own Hopeville. That was just
And
the tip.
when you
That
read
was
the
number 10.
story,
Yeah.
when you read Hopeville, then you will understand what that
Sentence
what
means.
that sentence
This
means.
was because I didn't want to touch the story, but I wanted to add my own things. But I was like, I'm not editing God, so I will create the things that I know make people successful. And the 44 lessons were literally pulled out of the story, as you
Nice.
saw, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
oh.
Nice.
And as I said earlier, this is more than just a story. It's a way on how to live your life. It really is. It's not a book that you'll say, yeah, I read that story. I read The Godfather. I read Gone with the Wind. No, when you read Hopeville, you will want to keep this close to you and
Thank you.
always
Yeah.
always look back. There are things, because what Fran just said, I will want to go back and read that again.
The thing
Because
that's
it's a guideline to life.
Sure.
and that's the thing that people, which I'm lucky enough, like, and you're saying it too, people are coming to me and saying, it came to me right at the right time.
That's nice.
And, it made me realize I am in control of my destiny. I could do it. And it's told through the eyes of the little boy, through the widowed mother, through the successful businessman, through the old man. So it's from
That's
all
great.
different perspectives.
I wonder if it's a great idea
But
to
then
make a
it
movie
ties
out of
in.
that.
There are other people.
what I said.
There are other people in the story that tie into these four people.
And
So-
that's, it's funny because I'm sitting there going, this is a very complicated story. I know I didn't think, it's like so weird how that voice.
Wow.
But it doesn't come across. It's very simple. It is very, when you open the first chapter,
Yeah.
it is simple. But then as you're reading it, wow, this is woven. This is that's why it's not about the four people. It's about Hopeville. It's about the city.
Right.
And really the story does weave the city, all the people of the city together to form
nice.
Hopeville.
And
It's a
speaking of
beautiful book.
chapters, well, we have come to the end of another chapter of the Filmmakers Show. And
He's channeling Bob Cratchit right now.
That's,
but I want to thank Fran Capo for
Thank
being
you.
here tonight, the world's
Thank
fastest
you.
speaking woman, and her book. Hopefully you'll take a look at that, pick one up, and that is a great book from what I'm
And
hearing.
it's available actually in all different forms.
In
you
all
know.
different forms.
Yeah.
Benny Rizzuti from Madhouse TV's The Gagoots Show. Michelle Parisi, my wonderful wife and host with me. I appreciate that. And of course, those 4 eclectic people without anything who never start at the small. Tom Mealy, Vicky Mealy, Janine Zarilli, Tommy Marr, thank you for all of this. And one shameless plug. Tonight, guys, even though it's on another network, watch Younger on TV Land at 10 p.m. Hillary Duff, Sutton, you guys are my favorite, Sutton Foster. And that was a shameless plug. I'm Jerry Parisi from Madhouse TV. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.